Okay, folks, I've had it. This whole matter regarding the African American Sports Entertainment Group and the recall of Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao has reached some completely, absolutely ridiculous, laughable proportions. There's no other way to describe it than that. There really isn't. This is bizarre world, okay? It just is. There is a lot of talk about, well, the city should have gotten its 15 million from AASEC uh, by uh, September 1st. Well, based on what? Well, based on the resolution, right? The city council resolution, all right? And, I'm discovering people don't read. And this is not the first time in our short history of this problem, like the last 3 years, that we've had this situation come up. It's not the first time. I'm not going to go back and recount history. I'll do that in another video. I'm going to talk about right now. Here is the language that proves, and this was presented to me by a city council person I will not name, who claimed that the city was owed 15 million September 1st. They showed me this in a text, and I said, "Did you read this?" Because it clearly states, right? Okay, this is what it clearly states. For anybody who cares to actually read in detail, to take the time to read, it clearly states the following. All right, listen to this. Okay, it clearly, and I mean clearly states that the Oakland City Council hereby approves contingency budget amendments to the adopted budget as presented in September Exhibit 3. In the case, the 15 million from the sale of the Coliseum site is not received by September 1st, 2024, or in the case an additional 15 million is not received by November 1st, 2024, or in the case that the remaining 33 million is not received by January 15th, 2025, and be it further resolved that if this 15 million from the land sale of the Coliseum site is not received by September 1st, 2024, or if an additional 15 million is not received by November 1st, 2024, or if the remaining 33 million is not received by January 15th, 2025, then it should say then, but it just says because it should say if then else. They have these ifs, but they forgot to put the then in. That's how sloppy this is, folks. But anyway, it says it should say then the city administrator is directed to freeze the hiring of new positions, delay the beginning of new sworn trainee academies, half the execution of unfinalized contracts and grant agreements funded from the general purpose fund and any restricted funds with structural imbalances, halt the approval of unapproved discretionary travel, take any other measures that they deem necessary to preserve the fiscal health of the city, and return to the city council a plan to rebalance the city's budget with as expeditiously as reasonably possible, and be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage. All right? My point is, and it's very simple, folks, this does not say pay September 1st, 15 million full stop, and that's it. It has an or. So if you add up these ors, it basically says, hey, you know what? I should just wait and pay the entire amount by January 15th in one fell swoop. Because the way this is read is it says, okay, you paid 15 million in September, but we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait until November 1st. We're gonna wait another month. Are you gonna get that one? Oh, so then you pay that. Or we're gonna wait for the other one. So there's these constant gates. So no matter what you pay, you still have to pay something else. So why not? In other words, what you owe is not considered completely owed. All right. And since the way it's written, it's not considered completely owed. Guess what? The city's budget cutting triggers don't occur. All these ors have to take place by January 15th. In other words, by January 15th, the city doesn't get paid for this to take effect, for the cuts to take effect. That's what this reads. All right? That's what this reads. I presented this fact to my council member friend, and she, I don't know why, but decided in her best interest, being a good Coliseum person, to basically say, hey, you know what? This is the way we interpreted it. I'm not going to say who this is. This is the way we interpreted it. How can anyone interpret September 15th out of this? There is no way. They just simply didn't understand what they were looking at all. And I'm not the only person, folks. I'm not the only person in the city of Oakland, and I mean within City Hall, on the executive side, who says I'm right. I'm right. As a person who has a lot of experience developing models based on what people write in legislation, I have learned to make sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed, and there's also a then where there should be, if you're going to write an if then else statement. That they present an if then else statement, a programming language. If you get through all of these gates, and at the end you pay, no trigger. The end is September 15th. Excuse me. The end is January 15th, not September 1st, 2024, which passed. Okay? Yet you have all these people crowing about this, and clearly they don't bother to read. Can you just please frickin' read? That's all I'm asking. Just read this stuff. What is going on in City Hall with support staff and elected officials and public officials, where we have this constant problem where someone didn't read a document properly? This has happened many times. I mean, are you guys smoking up too much weed or something in there? I'm asking a very serious question about how the city is running itself in the modern age, to where there's no detailed concentration going on at the level we need for the understanding of complex legislation, agreements with gates and if then else statements. This is terrible stuff, okay? And this is something that has to be paid attention to regardless of who's in charge. And that's why I say we need to get rid of the get rid of the straw mayor system and bring back the council manager form of government, put professionals in charge so we can do long-term planning, people who have the time to read these and aren't rushed by politics or anything else that's going on that's directed by a lay elected official. This system is really, it's the system itself that's putting us down the drain. All right? It's not overpayment, because the city's crime rate is actually creating the work conditions that demand that people be paid the rates that they're getting. It's us not doing economic development anymore. It's us not even understanding what tax increment financing is, let alone how to put together an enhanced infrastructure financing district program that's directed by a public financing organization with a infrastructure financing plan. The rudiments of a good modern tax increment financing effort for public-private development. like Howard Terminal was supposed to be. Now are you understanding why the A's decided to leave? Now are you understanding why Howard Terminal didn't get done? Because of examples like this. I don't want anybody telling me that the departure of the A's is not the City of Oakland's fault. Sorry, Tom Hanks, it is. And you need to watch my video. You need to watch this video to understand that we have a crisis of competence in Oakland. This happens way too much because the council member can say, I got my information from the CAO, the Chief Administrative Officer. So how is the Chief Administrative Officer explaining complex legislation to the lay elected official? Not well, which means they don't understand it well. That's the only reason to be in this situation. I'm giving it to you straight, no chaser, okay? Straight, no chaser. That's the problem. And it's much bigger even than the recall, all right? Yeah, the recall is a great start, but it needs to be the door that we walk through to really repair how the City of Oakland is ran. Let the effort begin, all right? This is ridiculous. I'm glad you're watching. Too bad you don't have anything to say or comment. But I'll show it to you. You got to go back and read this stuff right here, okay? What is this you're saying? This is July 23rd, 2024. All right? That's what this is. It's right there in black and white. You see the eyes. You know it was absent. It's all here. Okay? Subscribe to Zennie 62 on YouTube and bookmark OaklandNewsOnline.com. Thank you.